What's up, peeps? Facebook, how you doing? Just had an interesting client conversation, and I wanted to share this with you. I'm just gonna sit tight for a moment and make sure that whoever's interested in this topic come and join in because it is critical. It is a very common misconception that people aren't getting, and it's creating a lot of stress for a lot of folks in this holiday season, and I wanted to shed some light on your darkness. Please just go ahead and share this with somebody you know who's been struggling right now with anxiety, who's going through a lot of challenges with peeps, family, friends. Hey, Laura, what's up, D? How are you? Just saw Laura in my office here. I'm at the clinic seeing patients, and so yesterday, I was on a call with a client of mine in Atlanta who has been struggling in his business. He's got a nutrition business, and he had something happen a while back, and he's been judging the crap out of himself for it. And he's got this little dark passenger that's been plaguing him, and the dark passenger is a an entity that I came up with that I stole from the show Dexter. And the dark passenger, it represents your shadow. It's what Carl Jung calls your shadow. It's that part of you that you can't stand. Is the part of you that you go to a therapist or you take pills or you go to all these seminars to try to get rid of. But in actuality, it's a part of who you are. There is a narcissistic, selfish, egotistical, arrogant addict within me. That's my dark passenger, and I affectionately call him Nick. And so for years, I've been working towards getting rid of this dark passenger, trying to get rid of him. And it's like a dog chasing his tail, and it actually creates a lot of stress. It creates a lot of anxiety within you, and it causes you to resent yourself because how are you going to get rid of half of who you are? See, we have a saint and a sinner, a light and a darkness within all of us. And it's not for us to try to, what I've discovered, it's not for us to try to be half of ourselves. The fully integrated version of you actually has is whole and complete exactly as you are, with your faults, with all of your faults and your blessings, everything, all parts of you. So this client of mine has been struggling, just stuck in his relationship. His dark passenger was the fact that he was a bit of a player. Now, I can totally relate. This was one of the reasons why I had left my marriage, because I had just determined that that dark part of me was just not going to cut it in a relationship, and I didn't even open myself up to any possibility of creating a relationship that actually had honored all parts of my shadow as I would honor all parts of hers. So I left my marriage in it. And now he was living in this this delusion that he shouldn't, when he's in a relationship, he should only be committed and dedicated to one person. And so what occurred to him was the belief that he's not good enough, that he betrays people. And so when we did our session, what we discovered, we went all the way back to when he was 17 years old, and he discovers that, hey, what's up, Dave? What's going on, Ramina? What he discovered was that he he like this scene came up when he was 17 years old where he was a pot dealer and he stole a large sum of money, thousands of dollars, from one of his friends. And so he's been judging the crap out of himself for that. Now, that occurrence of I'm a horrible person, I'm a bad person, he's been carrying it with him for the past 10 years. And the impact of having that is that he's got lower self-esteem. He feels stuck in his business. He doesn't feel like he has the authority to speak up and really share his value in his nutrition business. And as a result, his nutrition business has been struggling. So I want you to think of the thing that you hate the most about yourself, the thing that you can't stand, the addictions, the narcissism, the anger, that little button, that little trigger, because your dark passenger, your shadow, has two parts. Part number one is the part that judges yourself for not being good enough. So it's got a little voice that says, I'm not good enough. Part number two is the expression of your dark passenger. That's what you do when you feel not good enough or not worthy. So there's addictions, there's drugs, gambling, sex, pot, whatever. Stealing, you name it. If there's this little part of you, or maybe your dark passenger is depression. One of my other clients, her dark passenger is depression. Now, I'm not saying that it's okay to go out and steal, and I'm not saying it's okay to just go be a player and do it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we have this part of us, this dark passenger that's a part of who you are, that if you try to resent and try to push away and you don't actually find what the meaning is about it, this thing takes over your life and is in the driver's seat instead of being asleep in the back where it belongs. And hey, what's up, Nikki? It's super duper important for us to look and really honor what the message is. And the message, basically, what we discovered in this session was that that dark passenger, that little part of him that wasn't good enough, the little thief, the pothead thief, drug dealer part of him, was actually a source of his light. That I'm not good enough feeling really is what has driven his superpower, which is he's a humble, caring individual who loves healing and transformation, specifically with nutrition. So he loves shifting people's lifestyles. So just think, if you've ever tried to be super duper good and healthy, you got this little dark part of you that really rears its ugly head. His little dark passenger has forced him to want to make an impact on the planet and want to actually help people healing naturally through nutrition and life transformation. And the interesting thing that we discovered was that his ability, the fact that he was a thief and a pothead, was what is driving him in his past was driving him to be such an incredible mentor for teenagers. It's kind of like that alcohol addict becomes a sponsor or a counselor as a profession. It's basically that dark part of you, if you're able to ask the right questions and get the right guidance, is the source of your light. So it's not for you to resent it and judge it and beg for forgiveness and run away, because what that ends up doing is it comes back to you with a vengeance. And so what I've observed when I'm working with my clients and when I do my coaching program with the Powerfully Aligned Mastermind coaching program, which by the way, make sure you join the Facebook group, The Art of Powerful Alignment. And I got a free training that's coming up that's going to actually show you how to transform that stress, how to transform that anxiety, that self-loathing, that self-judgment into power and freedom and expressing yourself in the most the highest version of yourself. See, I went through the exact same thing this summer when I was just constantly judging myself for being a failure, for being not good enough. And so it was up to me to love my darkness. And it was one of the most difficult things for me to sit there and do the work on it. And now, what I do now is pretty much in every single case, in every single client session I do, I try to help people love their shadow. Because when you love your shadow, it's got a paradoxical effect. So when you love that part of you, my job was to get him to love his inner pothead, pot-dealing thief, because if you don't love it, you try to compensate with behaviors that are completely inauthentic. And when you embrace that part of you, you actually expand in your power. It's really neat to watch, to witness. I mean, I look at my desire, this need and seeking of attention, this narcissism and this selfishness, this ego part of me that I'm sure nobody notices. What I've observed is that when I embrace that part of me, it's the part of me that's given me the power and the opportunity to step up and to speak and to teach and to really guide, to be a guide for people who are struggling with anxiety and depression, who are beating themselves up, who are stuck, stressed, sick, sore, and it's that's all I see around is people judging themselves for it. And there is an incredible feeling of liberation that happens when you can embrace that part of you. So I want you to follow the link below the comment section. I have an incredible webinar that's going to show you the 5 shifts that I made, that I take all of my clients through in order for them to go from feeling stuck, sick, and sore, stressed, depressed, and anxious, to having their best year ever. And it's a 5 shifts that I take everybody, that I went through myself. And so there's a free training that I have that you'll be implementing right away. Just follow the link. Actually, you can go bepowerfullyaligned.com/webinar. bepowerfullyaligned.com/webinar. Enter your name. There's only a limited seating. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to share with you the 5 shifts, the critical shifts that you need in order to transform this. Physics lesson about how light travels faster than the speed of sound. Sorry, Hyder. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's what this is about. If you're really interested in checking out the free training, make sure you follow the link below, which is bepowerfullyaligned.com/webinar. Get your name on the list and watch it with a pen and paper. There is nothing for sale. There is nothing for sale on the webinar. I don't have a product or anything like that's for sale. It's a free training that I share with people how I actually take my clients and go from stressed, sick, sore, depressed, and anxious, and having their best year ever. People who like Kim Gilmore-Beard, who wasn't able to fly because of her anxiety, is now able to get on a plane and be there as a stand for her family and friends. People like Chris, who's overcome his food addictions and this compulsion to just fill up his holes by eating. People like PJ, who have kind of healed their relationship with their partner, with their husband. They're basically on the brink of divorce because of her depression. Her dark passenger was depression, and she now sees it. See, your dark passenger is a signal, is a trigger for you to get into action, restore integrity, get back into embracing those dark parts of you so that you can then serve others and stop making it about you. So hopefully this has been useful. Definitely go on to bepowerfullyaligned.com/webinar. The link will be in the comment section, and register. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You will absolutely get something incredible out of it that you can implement starting the next morning. That's going to get you in that state of transition to feeling like you're powerfully aligned with who you are, with your soul purpose, with your mission statement. And that's basically it. It's really ideal for anybody who is going through a transition. If you're going through a transition in your life, maybe you're going through a divorce or a breakup, or you're shifting careers, or you're kind of at that standstill in your relationship. It's a point from right now until February 14th, have the highest number of breakups that are happening, because people are getting antsy and they're not really embracing their shadow and their partners. So this is really what I love sharing. What up, Sep from Down Under, Nat Desjardins, both you and Sep, you guys are both in the Gold Coast. What's going on? It's good to talk to you. So hopefully you guys will join me on the webinar tomorrow. The training is going to be fun. It's going to be quick. 45 minutes of pure, write it down, actionable steps that you can take, that the next day is going to be you'll have a huge impact in your transition from wherever you are to wherever you'd love to be. So if you have any questions, please share this with somebody you know who's been struggling with anxiety, who's been kind of having an identity crisis, and they really don't know where to turn. I'm a stand for them. I stand for healing and transformation. And I'd love to, thank you for the likes and the shares, and I appreciate it. And if you haven't already, join the Art of Powerful Alignment Facebook group. Check the link in the comment section. Join the conversation. And I look forward to future broadcasts with you, and hopefully see you on the webinar. Peace out.